Sir, when we left, we were discussing Mr. O'Keefe's sneaker that you retrieved from the Good Samaritan Hospital.
Yes, sir.
Would that be his right sneaker?
It would be his right sneaker.
Do you have that sneaker with you today?
I do.
And again, could you open that bag and show that right sneaker to the jury?
Yes, sir.
Is that the sneaker you retrieved from the Good Samaritan Hospital?
It is.
I'd move that into evidence, please.
Okay, any objection, Mr. Jackson?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Trooper Bukhenik, there are two more items.
Hold on one second.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Trooper Bukhenik, there are two more items that you retrieved of John O'Keefe's clothing from the Good Samaritan Hospital. Did you bring those two items with you?
Yes, sir.
Are those two of the items that you laid out on butcher paper to dry?
Yes, they are.
Were they ultimately bagged and put into evidence?
Yes, they were.
And did you bring Mr. O'Keefe's T-shirt?
Yes, I did.
Is it placed in an object so it can be seen?
Yes, it was.
What type of object?
It's a transparent plastic sheet.
I would move the T-shirt into evidence.
No objection, Your Honor.
With the court's permission, could Trooper Bukhenik show it to the jury?
Yes.
Could you show the back as well, Trooper? Thank you.
Mr. Brennan, could you help assist the court reporter with that, please?
Of course.
Exhibit 87.
Just place it on that side.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
And Trooper Bukhenik, is there a last piece of item of Mr. O'Keefe's that you took from the Good Samaritan Hospital?
Yes, it is.
And what is it?
It's the sweatshirt.
I'd move that into evidence, Your Honor.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right.
The court's permission?
Yes.
Could you show the back side, please? May I approach?
Yes, thank you. Next exhibit, please, Madam Court Reporter.
Exhibit 88.
Thank you.
Your Honor, as to exhibit 88, maybe approach Ruger.
I'm sorry?
Maybe approach Ruger.
Oh, okay. Jurors, every piece of evidence that you're getting is recorded, and we have to keep a very clear record. So sometimes we spend time that may seem like a waste of time to you, but it's very, very important for the case. So we do appreciate your patience. All right, go ahead, Mr. Brennan.
Thank you. Trooper Bukhenik, you shared with us that you met with some of the members of the state police that night and then returned to the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office to put the clothing on butcher paper, you called it. What was your next step in your investigation?
We met and discussed the next steps. My decision was to go back to 34 Fairview and excavate for the missing clothing item, being Mr. O'Keefe's hat. There was also plans to start writing search warrants.
Did the weather get better over the next couple days?
The weather did take a turn for the warmer temperatures, yes.
Did you return to Fairview a few days later on February 3rd?
Yes, I did.
Was that the first time you personally had visited 34 Fairview?
Yes, it was.
When you went to 34 Fairview on February 3rd, 2022, do you remember about what time in the morning you went?
Sometime between 8:30, 9 o'clock, maybe 9:30.
When you went there, did you travel with anybody?
Yes.
Who did you travel with?
It was other members of my unit and a member from crime scene services.
Did you all travel in the same vehicle, or did you meet there?
We all traveled in our own issued cruisers.
Was this a planned search or a planned excavation on February 3rd,
Yes, it was.
2022?
Yes, it was.
Who was there at the scene, 34 Fairview, with you?
It was Trooper DeChico, Mike Proctor, and Trooper Evan Brent.
And Trooper Evan, last name?
Brent.
Brent. Was Trooper Brent the photographer?
Yes.
What type of tools did you bring when you went to 34 Fairview?
We brought snow shovels, garden shovels. I brought a like an E-tool, military-style E-tool.
Was there still some snow on the ground?
There was, yes.
Did you and the members of the group begin to look for any evidence?
Yes, we did.
Were you looking on the street, or did you move to more on the grass?
Objection, Your Honor.
Ask it differently.
What area were you focused on at this point?
We were focused on the lawn portion of the property by in the vicinity of the flagpole, the fire hydrant, and along the edge of the asphalt.
Did you see a berm, an asphalt berm, separating the concrete street and the yard?
Yes,
Were you looking anywhere near the area of the berm?
we did, yes.
Were you looking anywhere on the street?
The street was plowed, but portions of the street still had remnants of snow, so we did check that area, but it was much easier to identify anything because it was clear of snow.
Where was most of your focus?
On the lawn.
As you worked your way through the lawn, did you or members of your team come across any items that you believe to be evidence?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to produce some of that evidence to us. Beginning with 535, did you find a number of pieces of plastic?
Yes.
Could you produce 535?
Yes, sir.
Let me just ask you a couple questions before you open that. If somebody identified an object that they believed to be evidence, what was the process for handling it?
On this day, we identified an evidence. The process would have been documenting each item that was located with photographs. Then one of the members of the individuals present would bag each item into a paper bag.
When they were bagged, would the person bagging them use any type of protection like you're using?
Absolutely, every time.
After the items were bagged, was the bag sealed?
Eventually, it was sealed. Yes.
When you say eventually, what does that mean?
Once it was, all the items were inside, and it was brought back to the office, it would be sealed, signed, completely filled out, with all the pertinent information on the back.
Could you open that bag?
Yes, sir.
Before you take the pieces out, I'm asking you to look in. Do you recognize those pieces?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize them to be?
I recognize them to be the items that we recovered from the lawn area on the left side of 34 Fairview Road on February 3rd, 2022, during the planned excavation of the property.
And were they photographed before they were put in that bag?
They were.
Your Honor, may I approach before Trooper Bukhenik
Yes.
opens that bag or goes through it?
Did you show this to Jack?
I am sorry. Hand you a series of photographs. I've asked you to take a look at them, see if you recognize them.
I do recognize them.
And what is in those photographs?
The photographs depict items collected from the lawn at 34 Fairview on February 3rd, 2022.
Do those particular photographs correspond with the pieces of items that are in that bag?
They do.
I have moved this series of photographs and evidence.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. We'll mark them separately, please.
Six. Thank you very much. Those items, were they eventually sent for analysis to a Massachusetts State Police lab?
Yes, they were.
When the laboratory received those items, are you familiar whether they marked them with a label or a number for identification?
Objection, Your Honor.
I want to know that.
Yes, they mark each item individually.
Do those items have markings on them reflected by an item number?
Yes, they are.
When you refer to a piece, will you refer to that item number that is on any individual piece?
Once it's labeled, it is identified by that individual piece, by that designated label.
So if there's any numbers written on any of those pieces, was that written by you?
No.
Would that have been written by somebody else after it was sent?
Yes, at the lab.
Okay. If we can begin, if you can begin to take the pieces out so we can show them to the jury. And does that have a number on it or a tag?
Yes, it does. This is item 22-02-184-7-8, also alphanumeric A.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you.
These two are taped together.
When you found them, were they taped together?
No. They're taped together by the lab. There's also a canister labeled debris collection. That number is 22-02-184-7-8.1. This is 7-8G. This is 7-8N, as in November. There are also items too small to label with a letter and number. Those were put into a bag like this. Almost looks like a stamp bag, wax stamp bag.
Are those all the items in that bag?
Altogether, there are, it does look like those are all the items. Some of them are inside the canister that I pulled up.
Understood. You know how to move those items into evidence, please?
Exhibit 95.
Sir, you mentioned that there was a trooper there photographing the evidence.
Yes, sir.
Did the photographer take a photograph of the items in place when they were found, or were the items moved to a different location before they were photographed?
That day, every item was photographed where it was found.
With the court's permission, I'd like to show a number of exhibits to the jury.
Okay.
And starting with Exhibit 89, which is P490-7690. Trooper, is that one of the items you found that morning?
Yes, it is.
Do you know where, in relation to the fire hydrant or the flagpole, this item was recovered?
It was in the general vicinity between the flagpole and the fire hydrant. The area we were excavating was approximately 40 to 50 square feet in area.
Mr. Brennan, can that be expanded, please, so that the jurors can see what we're looking at?
Thank you, Your Honor. Is the item that you recovered on top of that leaf?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. If I could next show Exhibit 90, which is P492-7692. Before we close up, sir, is that the fire hydrant that is at the corner of 34 Fairview Road?
Yes, it is.
Could we close up, please, on that? Why is there a ruler on the ground?
The ruler is utilized to help put the item to scale. by the photographer from Crime Scene Services. They utilize these measuring rulers for scale of the item that you're looking at. Sometimes it's hard to depict how large an item is if there's no reference point.
Could we do a little bit further view to show the fire hydrant? Thank you. Is that where this piece of evidence was found, in that exact location?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'd like next to show to the jury Exhibit 91, which is P5157721. Do you recognize that piece of evidence?
Yes, sir.
Could we zoom in, please? Is that the same piece of evidence that is depicted in Exhibit 89, P490, 7690, a different angle with the ruler?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. If we could have Exhibit 92, please, which is P493, 7694. Could you zoom in, please? Is that piece of evidence in the bag that you've provided as evidence, physical evidence?
Yes, sir.
Was this found near the area of the other pieces?
Yes, it was.
If we could show Exhibit 93, P507, 7711, please. Could you zoom in, please? How long did you spend that day looking, you and the team, for pieces of evidence?
I was probably 45 to an hour.
And finally, if I could show Exhibit 94, P503, 7707. And could you zoom in, please? And this piece of evidence, where in relation to the other pieces was this found?
In the same vicinity.
Thank you. If you could take that down, please. When you were searching, did you find any item near the street area?
Yes, we did.
What did you find?
A black plastic drinking straw.
Could you retrieve 536 for us, please? I'd move this piece of evidence into evidence.
No objection.
All right.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, let's get it marked.
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
Let's wait till it's marked.
Exhibit 97.
Thank you.
Showing a photograph, do you recognize that, sir?
Yes, I did.
What's it a photograph of?
It's a photograph of the black drinking straw that we found at 34 Fairview on February 3rd, 2022.
What location did you find it in?
It was close to the paved berm on the street.
This is after the street was plowed?
Yes, it was.
I'd move this into evidence as an exhibit, please.
Okay.
No objection.
Exhibit 98.
Yes.
I'd ask you to open this and show it to the jury.
Yes, sir.
With the court's permission, I'd like to show Exhibit 98 to the jury,
Okay.
and that is P4887688. Sir, could you look at that photograph? And Ms. Gilman, could you close? Do you recognize what's in that photograph?
I do.
And what is that?
That is the photograph of the straw we picked up from the street in front of 34 Fairview Road.
Could we zoom out a little bit, please, Ms. Gilman? Is that the area where you or your team recovered that straw?
That is exactly where it was found and recovered from.
That photograph doesn't show much of the grass area. How far is that area from the fire hydrant?
It's probably, with my estimate, 15 feet, maybe 20 from the fire hydrant. It's probably 15 to 20 feet, if I had to estimate.
Thank you. You mentioned that one of the items that you went back to Fairview to try to find was a hat. Why were you specifically looking for a hat?
I had learned that Mr. O'Keefe was wearing a black baseball hat the night prior to the incident. So with us recovering the clothing from the hospital and the hat was not part of that pile of clothing, we needed to see where the hat was. That could have been a lead. That could be a clue of where Mr. O'Keefe was last prior to being discovered.
Did you or the team ultimately find a hat that morning?
Yes.
Could I have you produce 537?
Yes, sir.
All right, move that item into evidence.
No objection.
So this is going to be 96.
Thank you.
Exhibit 96.
Thank you.
With the court's permission, Trooper Bukhenik, could you open that and show it to the jury? Was that item photographed?
Yes, it was.
And when that was taken from the scene, was the same method used of using gloves and putting it in a bag?
Yes, it was.
When the item was photographed, was it photographed in the place that it was found?
Yes, it was.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. So I'm showing you a series of photographs. If you take a look at it, the first one, do you recognize that photograph?
I do.
What is it?
It's the accumulated snow that was being excavated at the scene where we located Mr. O'Keefe's hat.
And the second photo?
The second photo is a close-up of Mr. O'Keefe's hat, flattened and frozen to the ground with portions of it exposed from underneath the piled up snow.
Third photo?
Third photo is also of the hat once it's been removed, and you can see the thin blue line, American flag, on the front of the hat, and the Nike swoosh on the brim.
And the fourth photo, please.
And the fourth photograph is also a close-up of the top of the hat with a scale ruler next to it, with grass showing it from underneath the hat.
I'm going to put these back in the order you identified them. Or I move these 4 photographs into evidence.
Okay, any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Do you want them as 4 separate or A, B, C?